I will call to order the Ottawa City Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 11th. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Clayton,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley,
Present.
Commissioner Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore,
Present.
and Commissioner Van Layden.
Present.
We are all present and accounted for. I'd like to welcome everyone here in the audience today, as well as those watching online, and want to give a special welcome to Commissioner Skidmore, who is here on his birthday. That'll take us to the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation by Pastor Nathan Mudd of Ottawa Community Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Select reading from Psalm 13. A rainy morning that turned to sunshine. Just beautiful. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. So, Lord, we come before you and bringing decisions and but also our very souls. And so I pray for each person tuning in and here in this room that may feel alone or forlorn, and for your presence, Lord. I thank you for each of our commissioners and our city staff and everybody who works together for Ottawa. I pray a blessing for them. And so meet with us in this meeting now and give direction, I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. That'll take us to item 6, public comments.
We have none registered.
Hearing none, we will skip item 7, appointments, proclamations, recognitions, and nominations, as there are none. Item 8, consent agenda, consists of the amended minutes from the March 4th, 2026 meeting, minutes from the November 12th Planning Commission meeting, and agenda approval.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item 9, declaration. At this time, I'd like to give the commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication they've had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 10, unfinished business. Item 10A, consider approval of Western Area Power Administration, WAPA, Integrated Resource Plan, IRP, with Assistant Director Olson. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners, and the public of Ottawa. Last week when we had our commission meeting at the Ottawa University, we initially presented and had a public hearing. But just a little reminder, kind of a little update on exactly what we're talking about here. The City of Ottawa has a contract with Western Area Power Administration, which is round-the-clock hydroelectric energy that we get on a consistent basis, which actually adds to our renewable resources that we bring into the community. It is a 5-year plan, and because of that, because we have that contract, one of the stipulations is that every 5 years we have to go through the process of a integrated resource plan. It's a plan, a document that is stagnant when we actually present it, but we can move in different ways going forward on exactly how we look at available resources and future planning for what we need to do. It evaluates our supply, demand, and efficiency strategies. For today, for this meeting, we're looking to receive any final commission feedback. Last week, it was more of a remote location. This right here was the opportunity for us to gather more information. As part of that, we received some internal updates. You received an advance notice of that. There's a couple items in there, namely dealing with, instead of having Ransom Memorial Hospital, we changed it to Advent Ottawa, or Advent Health Ottawa. Same thing with some of our number of staffing in our electric production, electric distribution, to more accurate numbers. Those are minor in and information, and it really has no major output other than the fact that as we expand and grow and things change, we do change sometimes the available people we had that work in those divisions going forward. So for today, we'd like to receive any final feedback, to consider the approval of the integrated resource plan, and then authorize staff to submit that plan to WAPA, which we are required to do. We maintain a draft copy, and then once it's approved, we'll put a copy connected on our city's website. But then they maintain the formal or final copy up at WAPA on their website, so it can be accessed by other entities as well. It is required under energy planning and management programs. It's required for us because we are a member and we take WAPA power. We look at supply and demand side, and it's updated every 5 years. And then each year we do any updates, reporting of any things we've done during that 12-month period. Most of what we have done is street lighting replacements, any efficiency upgrades like the HVAC system here in the City Hall will be documented and try to attain what efficiency upgrades or what reduction of energy usage that may have for us. So we look at all the different things that we do, and at the same time we do on an annual basis, and then every 5 years we regroup and then come up with another forward-looking plan. 2025, our total energy uses was about 154,000 megawatt hours. That's divided into customer classes, commercial, industrial, and residential. Our summer peak power was 37.2 megawatts. This is our customer mix. Residential is almost about 39% of all of our energy usage. Commercial is about 55.5. That's all the businesses we have in town, whether it be small family-owned businesses or large commercial entities, Walmart and those type of things. And our large industrial base up in typically the northeast part of town and some other remote or other locations. And our major users are American Eagle Distribution Center, Walmart, Advent Health Ottawa, and then Ottawa University. These are some peak load projection based upon where we're at for 2025. We're looking at a modest improvement over time. We may at some point get a single customer, they come in and may drop a large amount of load. If something were to materialize out at Proximity Park, that'd be one of those that could change that angle of growth, and it could be a major step and then continue increasing from there. So we look at that, we evaluate it, and we try to come up with methods to actually try to serve that customer and any future customer that we may see coming. Housing, those type of things we got going on. Down by Hidden Lakes, we got some growth up in the northeast part of town, up there in the by Lincoln Elementary School in that area. So we have growth happening. It's just not as big as what may be like for a hotel or something that might be that. It's more individual residential. We have looked at in our load generation and infrastructure. We have a power plant. We have units that sometimes many of the people operating them are younger than the units themselves. They are long-term assets, but those units are ready to serve whenever we need. We have three substations. Two of them are rated 161,000 supply volts up in the northeast, southeast, and then we have an older one located near our power plant that's coming off a 34,500 volt system off of Evergy's. And then we do distribution upgrades. We're in process of doing some going forward, trying to improve reliability and connections between the north and the south end of town. And then some of the things we do internally on a lot of our city buildings, like I said, the HVAC, and then in the document is some listing of all the different improvements and what years we accomplished those. LED street lights, we on ongoing. Changing LED lights here, or changing lights at City Hall to get the library the ability to do their youth section down there, and a lot more computers. We did improvements here which lowered the energy usage of City Hall, so we didn't have to expand into more load centers and things for the building. We do tree trimming, which helps to improve reliability. Energy efficient upgrades, all those are documented on there. Even small things as LED lights. And some of our breaker indications. It helps to maintain the light working, but it also reduces the 24-hour day usage of electricity. We also do work with Kansas Municipal Energy Agency. Works across municipal energy or municipals across the state of Kansas. We look for, with them, they sometimes will bring up a power supply committee if they see opportunities. Look for renewable, solar, generation. A lot of cities are putting in Caterpillar units. They're local, they're quick. Now the process to do those is probably 3 to 5 years out because of all the across the nation trying to provide power for data centers and growth and those type of things. And then for long-term power supply planning. Now, with this document, it doesn't have any cost to it other than city-involved time, which is in part of what the normal cost is. So it's no additional cost to the public. And then it basically allows us to continue taking WAPA. We have just extended. There's some other things going on with WAPA for renewable energy credits coming back from them. Those type of things. We're just an integral member of that supply. Our recommendation is to, if any final discussions, any additional information would be to approve the integrated plan, and then we can move to get that sent to WAPA for them to post on their website. And with that, I'll take any questions you might have.
I just want to say thank you, Director Olson. You know, the presentation this week and the information last week, and with the IRP being in the agenda, there's a lot of information in there that people can see.
Yeah, like I said, a PowerPoint can't cover every single
Yeah.
thing in there. So we brought up some highlights, but just kind of more of a broader understanding of exactly what we're kind of looking at. And I mentioned that last week, that we're going to look at, boilerplate. What is the city of Ottawa? What type of customers and those type of things, history and those type. But the document we have, since we started taking WAPA, hydroelectric power, we maintain a copy of our IRP on the city's website. So it can be accessed from the electric utility tab, and actually will be accessed in the future for anyone to take a look at. And we always try to take any additional inputs as we go. This is just more the formal process, but we listen to what people have to say. We also try to incorporate those on our next iteration of that document going forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It's a lot of time put into that, from your staff as well. So.
Yes, it is across the board. It touches many different departments across the city staff.
Do we have any other questions, discussion for Director Olson or any other staff?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we approve item 10A on the agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. May I get roll call vote, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you, Director. That'll take us to item 11, new business. Item 11A, appointment to Kansas Municipal Energy Agency, KMEA, Board of Director 2 position with City Clerk Sherman. The appointment is for a 2-year term and the Director 2 position on the KMEA Board of Directors ending April 30th, 2028.
Good afternoon, Mayor Commissioners. I'm here today. Staff is recommending that the City Commission review and consider appointment of Dave Hunsaker to the KMEA Board of Directors 2 position for a 2-year term that would expire April 30th, 2028. Each member of the governing body can appoint 2 directors and may appoint an alternative. Director 2's current term expires on April 30th, 2026. Here are our current directors. If you remember, just a little bit ago, we had Commissioner Skidmore up for Director 1 position and was elected for that position. That term expires 4/30/2027, so today we're here to talk about the Director 2 position, who has Dave Hunsaker currently right now, that expires April 30th, 2026. We do have an alternative, Jeff, that's just in that permanent position. We can change that alternate at any time if we need to. There's no financial impact for this. The legal considerations, this is KMEA Article 5 bylaws, Section 5.1 through 5.7, which was included in your packet in case you have any questions on that, but that's what governs this appointment. And with that, I would stand for any questions.
I guess Mr. Hunsaker's okay with this, or does he have a choice?
He is okay.
Voluntold,
Voluntold.
yeah. that's what we're
Okay.
doing here.
I'll make the motion, we approve David Hunsaker for this position mentioned in 11A.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. When you're ready, may I get roll call, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes. So
you.
congrats to Dave. That'll take us to item 11B, Ottawa Chamber of Commerce Make My Move program update. The Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce will provide an update on the Make My Move program. We have Rylan Miller here.
You
Welcome.
betcha. Thank you for having us. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm assuming this is my clicker to be
I
able
think
to go
so,
through the
yeah.
slides. Sweet deal.
We'll find out.
And exactly. Let's go. Yep, no, it's good to go. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to come and chat with you. You might have been able to, you might have already heard about this program that we've been able to engage with over this past 6-7 months. Maybe you've even seen a news article about it, but I was hoping to be able to take this opportunity to be able to share a little bit more, but also be able to celebrate with you on some recent wins as well. So to give a bit of background on what the Make My Move program is, in the summer of 2025, the state of Kansas created a grant program that they called Home in the Heartland. And what that looks like is a relocation program where individuals from out of state that might be interested in moving to Kansas, communities can be able to incentivize them and bring them in. So the chamber would have spearheaded our local initiative, and we were approved along with 11 other communities in the state of Kansas. And what that looks like is a direct partnership with the organization Make My Move. I'll talk a little bit more about who they are, but really the goal of this grant program is to be able to attract individuals to be able to join our workforce, but also to be able to join our beautiful community. And so it's always fantastic when you can bring regional, state, maybe even federal dollars to our community, especially whenever it's for a program that can really be super influential like this one. So a little bit more info on on what this looks like, what this program looks like. So Make My Move is a national organization, and they have, oh my goodness, I think over 100 some communities that they're working with currently. Outside of the state of Kansas, they have a couple dozen states that they have partnerships with. And what they do is they really put a spotlight on our community. And they do that through the creation of, well, they have a lot of different ways they do it, but one of the ways they do that is the community portal that we've been able to create for Ottawa and Franklin County. And they have their magic way of being able to direct individuals to be able to, who might be interested in relocating, maybe moving, and to be able to see what communities are interested in bringing folks in. Being an inclusive community like we are, we're looking to be able to grow Ottawa and Franklin County, and so we're hopeful whenever people see this portal, they hear about how great our community is, because that's exactly what information you can find there. And they also can see some local incentives that we've been able to work out. So the Chamber was tasked with being able to create packages. We've worked with about a dozen different organizations who are offering different perks to be able to hopefully catch those individuals who might look like they want to relocate, to be able to look at Ottawa and Franklin County. But really, that those incentives are not just to be able to be flashy, but really they're to be on-ramps for our local organizations and businesses to be able to connect with these folks. Because this program is more than just getting people here. It's getting them connected, to be able to really feel that sense of community that I've come to know and love. And hopefully allow them to be able to be great neighbors by having that connection. And so once maybe they've tuned in to Make My Move, they see our community, maybe that $8,000+ in different incentives has catched their eyes. The Make My Move staff helps be able to work them through that application process. And so hopefully through that process, if they're a good fit for our community, they make the move. Relocate, and then also the Make My Move team helps retain those individuals in our community as well. And so on the local level, the Chamber's main role is to act as liaison for this program. And so when these individuals need information or need to get connected to different folks, we're that person. So maybe that looks like a financial institution in regards to loans. Maybe that looks like housing information. So our landlords association, our realtors in town, to be able to get them connected with housing opportunities. And actually, a surprising number of these applicants are also looking for jobs. So maybe they're not bringing their remote job with them; they're looking for work here. And so, what we've been able to do is connect with HR groups to be able to make sure they realize the program exists. And whenever there's a good opportunity to be able to plug them in, get them connected with that business that is hiring, try to be able to find them a job here. And so, all that comes together to be able to make this program effective. And so we started this in about October is whenever, or excuse me, September is when we got approved for the grant. October is whenever we actually would have got it off the ground. And so in those 6 to 7 months, here's a little glimpse at what we've seen so far. Talk about that spotlight that has been put on Ottawa. There's nearly 76,000 different people have been able to discover Ottawa, Kansas, that maybe didn't realize we were here to begin with. And that looks like over 100 households who've actually clicked the apply button, answered some of those questions, and shown an interest. And so I talked earlier, on the earlier slide, I talked about the 10 households. That was our goal. So it doesn't mean 101 households are sitting there in the waiting line. What that means is those 111 households have expressed interest. They've seen our community through that portal and said, you know, I think Ottawa might be a place that I'd like to be able to see me and my family be able to move to. And so we worked through that process to see, again, are they a good fit for us? Is it a good fit for them? What does that look like in regards to employment and housing? And so a couple different stats there. That 111 households look like over 300 people between adults and children that they'd be bringing with them. Average age of the applicant is 37 years old. Those two stats are one of many that Make My Move collects for us. So if that's your thing, you like that data, happy to be able to provide more of that in the future, or I can email it to you. It's really neat to be able to see what states they're coming from. I believe there's over 30 states that have, from individuals from 30 different states who have applied to our community out of that 111 households. And so it's really neat to see the reach we've been able to have through this program. And so really that gets me to where I'm at right now, which is as of this week, we have secured 2 of the 10 households. That is our final goal. And so one of those households is going to be moving here in the next couple of weeks. The week of the 23rd, they'll be coming to town. But the first household has actually been here for just over a month now. And he hasn't snuck in on me, I don't think. He's supposed to be here today, but he's also a nurse at Advent Health Ottawa, and so I have a strong feeling. The reason he's not here is he's probably doing incredibly important things here at a local hospital. But super excited to be able to welcome David and Jessica Green and their 3 kiddos who come from North Carolina. Again, he works at Advent Health Ottawa and actually has a fantastic story being from the Kansas area originally, moved away because of college, and the way he described it to me was they were already kind of toying with the idea of coming back to the Midwest, saw this program and the conversation between him and his wife where it was meant to be. This is exactly what we need to be doing. And so then they applied and worked through that process, and now they're here. And so would love to be able to have him be able to share a little bit of story, but again, not here. So maybe we can find another time to be able to actually get David here when he's not at the hospital. But just really wanted to be able to share how excited we are to be able to have the Green family here. From early conversations, they're going to be a massive asset to the Ottawa community. And that's just one of, like I said, hopefully 10 households when it's all said and done that will be here in our community. And so happy to answer any questions about that program. And I guess if we take long enough, maybe he'll just sneak in, who knows. But I wanted to be able to share a little bit about what we've been up to, where we're headed. And at this point, the snowball is going down the hill. I imagine we'll be at that 10 households before we know it, which is really exciting.
That's a great program. I was thinking that Make My Move. Didn't Clint Eastwood make that line famous in a movie or something? It sounds familiar. But anyway, is there a deadline on the program or until the money just runs out?
You betcha. Yeah, so the state was hoping to be able to get all this done in the course of a year. And so that goal that we set of 10 households is really a 12-month plan. So that'll be looking like at the end of August, we're hopefully be able to attain that goal. And so through conversations with the Make My Move team, they feel pretty confident that we are on pace to be able to do exactly that. Believe it or not, people don't really love moving November, December, January, the coldest months of the year. And so I imagine this only picks up from where we are now. So about August is whenever we're trying to be able to get that 10 household goal accomplished.
That's great. And then another question was, who wrote your grant? I'm guessing our city clerk had her fingerprints on that somewhere, but no? Who wrote your grant to get that success?
It was actually a culmination of our office and working directly with the Make My Move team. With that being said, Melissa is a fantastic grant writer.
That's what I was gonna say.
You're
That's why
spot
I
on.
assumed
And
it
I
had
know
to
as a
have gone
fact having
through her.
conversations, I think it was just this last week, we met as a small cohort in town about all the grants that she is on top of, and I'm not sure how she does it. She's a superstar.
All right, thanks.
Well, I will just echo the same sentiments. It's a great program. I do want to say, if you've got data and you want to send that over,
Yeah,
just
happy
those
to
numbers
share
and
more.
stuff, it was super exciting to see. Do you know, does Make My Move kind of give you info in that 111 households that have applied? What's kind of natural attrition that it's people just, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, who aren't really maybe interested? Do they say, hey, 20% of people are kind of just a wash from the get-go? Or do they give you any of that kind of?
Yeah, and so it's a hands-on program for our office. So our office sees all those applications come in and is able to work through each one of those. And sometimes it's pretty glaring when those maybe isn't a great fit. They have to be able to answer certain questions in regards to what they expect to see in a community. Sometimes that might be cost of living when it comes to being able to rent or purchase a home. And so pretty straightforward, being blunt and say, hey, I don't think these expectations are realistic for our community. If we can have a conversation about that, we'll see where we go. And some of it is I think there's probably a handful of different opportunities they're looking at, but we are geographically located in a great spot. If you look at the different communities that have been accepted to this program, we're really close to the metro, where some of these other communities might be a little further in western Kansas. I don't know if there's a specific percentage. I would say there's about, I think there's 4 others who have gotten to the end of the pipeline, and at this point would have to be able to say, yes, we're going to do it. So at a flip of a hat, if those 4 were able to do that, that's boom, we're now at 6. And there's probably another 5 or 6 outside of those that are just about towards the end, still having to be able to figure out some smaller details. But in regards to that timeline, it can vary, but they say it's about 3 to 6 months is whenever people do make that decision. So as people are coming in the pipeline now, you have that expectation that, yes, if they're just getting started in regards to that process, they might be looking at it. You can speed that up significantly, though, depending on how quickly you're able to get stuff figured out. But as you probably realize, if you're looking for employment, sometimes that takes some time. Be able to go through those application processes. So there's probably a really roundabout way of answering that question. I didn't answer it very directly. I apologize. But
that helps as well. And I mean, I think it's a great point to mention, just even in the Green family, 3 children, depending what ages those are, I think we're seeing enrollment decline in schools around the state and probably even nation. I think this is a kind of great way to just naturally inject. If there's 10 families, 2 to 3 kids, or a couple, that could be 20 kids in the school district, within a year, simply kind of from this program. So it's a benefit for a lot of other organizations too in the community.
You're spot on. Yep. And it's a first grader and all the way to a 4-month-old is the makeup of their family. And it's interesting, and you always hear people talk about the reasons why they move to a community, and school districts are absolutely part of that conversation. The Green family said they obviously looked that into whenever they were looking at the different communities to be able to move to, and were pleased with the schools that we had here and felt confident in the schools that we had here to be able to relocate their young family to. So,
awesome. Well, thank you for your work and your staff's work on this.
Absolutely. No,
Exciting
it's definitely exciting work. I love being able to see a new name pop up on that list, be able to reach out to them. I'm an extrovert in nature, so I just get to meet new people all the time. But there's a lot of really good people out there, and if we can get them to be able to move to our community, I think that's going to be a good thing. So I'm looking forward to be able to give more updates in the future and hopefully allow all 5 of you to be able to meet David Green and his family sometime real soon.
Awesome. If someone's listening and they have a business, they're looking for staff that, they may be looking, or they may potentially be able to help offer an incentive, something like this, what's the best way for someone to kind of pursue that if they're wanting to do
betcha.
that?
Yeah, and they're happy to be able to reach out to our office to be able to get any questions answered. But the Make My Move website, I believe it's makemymove.com. If you were to see the Ottawa portal, they'd be able to check it out. Again, look at our photos, look at our videos, and then kind of a description of what makes Ottawa great, and then just go ahead and apply if their employee's interested. If you're an employer looking to be able to just find more information, to be able to shove, so that link's a really great one. But no, happy to be able to share my contact information, again, as that liaison here through this program. Happy to have, whether it's phone calls, emails, or be able to share any more paper info that would be helpful to be able to make that move happen.
That's great, thank you.
You bet.
Do we have any other?
Yeah, I just got
Questions,
a question. So the grant was 145 grand, right, and the cash incentive 6. So the 80 grand plus whatever is the 8,000 plus in incentives. Who's getting that actual money?
You
Is that the
betcha.
family? Is it
No, so
businesses?
so the way the money works out is it's a partnership with that Make My Move company. And so Make My Move does a ton of work in the back, and really we wouldn't be connected to those 111 households or
With
been
that,
able to be
okay.
seen with those 76,000 some people who've seen our community because of what the work that Make My Move's done. And so so long story short, to answer your question, Make My Move gets paid, the families get paid, and the chamber doesn't actually. The
Yeah,
chamber
okay.
doesn't
Yeah,
receive
okay.
any funds in regards to overhead for this program, but the chamber absolutely realizes, and my board supports this, that this is going to be a massive benefit whenever.
Yeah, yes, this is a great program. There's no doubt about that. I just was curious.
Yep. Nope. Great question. Okie dokie. Well,
Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
for allowing me to be able to come and
Yeah.
share a little bit.
And welcome to the Greens.
Yeah, exactly that.
Thank you, Ryland. That'll take us to item 11C, Downtown Master Plan with Interim City Manager Finch. The governing body will review the proposed Downtown Master Plan request for proposal, RFP, and provide direction to staff.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Blaine Finch, Interim City Manager. If I can return for just a second to the previous agenda item. It has been my pleasure to work with Make My Move for a year. They've been a client. We helped get the grant program started with the State Treasurer's Office, and happy to say that the state budget does include a renewal of that grant for next year for additional cities to continue to work on this program. They have nothing but great things to say about Ryland and his team and the work that they've done. So we've got a great network of partners here in the community and doing some great things. So we're excited to see that coming together. Thank you, Ryland. So we want to bring people to our community, and really the heart of Ottawa is its downtown. And we have had several instances over the last several years where we have talked about improvements to downtown or even received funding for improvements to downtown, but there's a bit of a domino effect. For example, we have a grant to plant trees. And the question becomes, okay, where do we plant them? If we put them in the corners that we have now, we don't have automatic watering facilities. We have to dedicate staff to watering. We have people talking about, once we do that, do we have to upgrade water lines downtown? We have electrical infrastructure that is compromised. People say they want speakers downtown, and that leads to a question of where do we put them? If we put them on the streetlights are older. They need to be repaired or replaced. The power that goes to those streetlights is not adequate. We have issues of utilities in the alleyways throughout downtown. And we have continued questions about access. We have accessibility questions for people who have lower mobility to be able to get to shops downtown. And we have the trail network downtown, but how does it really interact with our streets? Currently, the Prairie Spirit Trail goes down the middle of Walnut Street, but there's not a lot that would draw your attention to the fact that we have the only trail crossing of public trails in the United States, 2 blocks from where we sit right here. So we have some money that we've obtained. We've had some money that we've missed out on, frankly, for our downtown in the form of member-directed spending from members of Congress. We had tried to submit plans for electrical upgrades to our downtown, but we're simply not ready. The engineering is not there, and we're not going to have a chance to get those funds until that engineering is in place. So as staff talked with Ottawa Main Street Association and others, we came to the consensus that really what we need is a comprehensive plan for downtown. We need a master plan that tells us what direction to go in and which thing to do first. The last thing we want to do is expend precious taxpayer dollars doing one thing like planting trees, only to find that if we had just done this other thing first, we might have been better able to maintain those trees or maintain our corners or upgrade our speaker system or upgrade our lighting. So the consensus amongst staff and the direction from you all at your meeting at the end of last month was to come back to you with an RFP, a request for proposal. And so we have done that. And I think, I'm sorry I didn't follow along with the slides. I was terrible at that. But I don't know. Is the RFP in the slide deck? No, okay. You all have it in your packet, I believe. It is pages 38 through 42. Want to thank Ryan Harkins and the community development team, Melanie and the finance, and Scott, along with utilities, and Melissa for their work on this. This is not a contract. Unless the public think that we are agreeing to enter into a contract for master planning, we are not. This is simply to ask firms that might be interested in doing a downtown master plan to submit their proposals for us, the reasons why the city should consider choosing them, and then you all will make the ultimate decision about whether we proceed or not. Typically with something like this, because it is very large scale and because you want a lot of community input, we would get back the proposals, maybe narrow that down to some finalists, and then you all would conduct interviews with those firms, bring in the relevant stakeholders who should be at the table for those interviews, and then make a final decision if you choose to move forward. So all we're asking for today is authorization as staff to publish this RFP and to seek proposals for a new downtown master plan. That's something we have not done for a long time in our community. I know that Ryan found an old version. I think it's aged and maybe a sepia-toned paper at this point. It called for making sure that horses could only go in one direction on certain streets. No, it's not quite that old, but it is fairly old, and we do need to upgrade this. So you've seen the document, you've heard kind of how we got to this point, and I'll be happy to stand for any questions concerning this item.
Thank you, Interim City Manager. I think, you hit on a lot of points. There's so many things that cascade as one thing comes up. Years ago, I remember the water lines were done downtown, and there's been other just things that have needed to be addressed. So hopefully getting all of that into this plan lets us do engineering. And as you'd mentioned, with the airport just receiving congressional allocated funds, there's potential funds that we could get for a lot of these projects if we have the initial work done and have our ducks in a row. So I appreciate that, and I think this will be a great thing for the community for the future as well, and for those businesses and everyone downtown, and then citizens and people who shop down there.
I would note that the RFP does and has scored one of the factors that we consider as public involvement. This should be a process where they're talking with business owners, where they're talking about users of downtown, users of the trail network, and getting all of those perspectives before they make recommendations. Ottawa has a unique and beautiful downtown. We certainly want to do no harm, and we want to capitalize on the best elements of that, and that's only going to come about if we get everyone who has a stake in downtown around the table to give their input.
I was recently having a conversation with somebody about why we've been the same for decades, whether it's population or look or anything like that. And quite frankly, some of our scenery only changes in unfortunate situations, when we lose a building, because of a fire or something. And the city staff does a lot of unsexy things, the infrastructure that nobody sees. And you do a lot, it's just the things that nobody sees, and this is a thing that, we could get some, other outside eyes giving us some perspective of, you got a beautiful downtown, like you say, but, let's freshen it up here, freshen it up there, and give the public what they've wanted to see for decades now. Our downtown only beautified, a little bit, more impressive of what we already see, what we, I guess, enjoy. It's time to freshen it up a little bit. So I'm anxious to see, what some of the ideas, that'll come up, and how we can, whether it's this commission or future commission, how they move forward on, what they do to that downtown.
Any other questions or comments for City Manager Finch?
Go
ahead.
I'll make the motion that we approve item 11C on our agenda.
I have a motion and a second. May I get roll call, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioner.
you. That'll take us to item 11D. Consideration of a resolution to authorize Kansas Municipal Energy Agency, KMEA, to refund the bond for the City of Ottawa's purchase of their share of the Dogwood Power Plant, with Assistant Director Olson. This item is to consider approval of the resolution to refund the bond for the Dogwood Power Plant. Welcome back.
Round two. This right here is an opportunity that came up. KMEA normally does a quarterly meeting of the Dogwood Committee. It was brought up during that. The committee reviewed it, looked at the opportunity. They brought in some information from their bond counsel that KMEA uses and recommended that we try to get this done so we can, because the opportunity, and I'll go through a little bit further on this, is that a little bit more history on that, but the city of Ottawa and 4 other cities went in 2018 and purchased a percentage of ownership within the Dogwood plant. Dogwood plant is a combined cycle gas turbine over in Pleasant Valley, Missouri. It actually connects into that. Majority ownership of that facility is municipals. There is also, Evergy is also part of that mix. And it is actually, at this point, is a very efficient plant. It runs, gets called by the Southwest Power Pool market on a regular basis to run for the market. In 2018, we did buy into that plant, and it was a 20-year bond issued at that point for KMEA, and we'll get a little bit further some information from them on the breakdown of that. But the bond authorizes the ability to refund after April 1st of 2026, which means we can go out to the market if the market conditions have improved and maybe get a better interest rate or a lower cost associated with that bond. Their bond counsel evaluated and recommends going out to the market after April 1st. Some analysis of that is that the initial cost of the purchase of that was $32 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but that's for over 62 megawatts of output from the plant for the life of the plant. So it's an investment. The KMEA Board of Directors approved this by almost a 100% rate because of the fact that this gets into contractual cost plus interest rates. The overall general board have to have a majority vote from that board to approve that, and that was done on March 6th. The estimated savings based upon conservative efforts is about $235,000 a year. That's not all our savings. That is, it's broken down into percentage of ownership of that bond. We would probably make out about $19,000 or more if the results from going to the market bring higher or better results. Will actually improve savings more than what they estimated. As part of that committee, we voted that there was a minimum stipulation. We wanted to at least have 5% improvement on that bond before they would even go to that, because there's certain carrying costs and certain costs with that the 5% is anything better than that would be something we would go for. The city has done that previously. Southeast substation, Northeast substation, they went back and refunded those and certain other things to get a better rate, better opportunity to help control the cost. As we mentioned last week, we're in the business to try to manage and control cost to our customers and to us as a utility. And so with that, it appears to be a little bit small, but considering that we're roughly 8% of the KMEA project, it would be something that would carry forward for the remainder of the bond. So we would get improvements over the next 12 years. So this right here also aligns with strategic alignment on different things, on exactly that we're trying to manage that, which better controls our cost to our customers, and then that right there, as a community, it benefits the community. And so our recommendation is to, with a vote, to approve the signing of the resolution to be sent to KMEA, so they can go out after April 1st to the market and to get that approved. It was originally thought to bring this to you next week, but I believe that you all are not going to be here next week. So we, with the city clerk's effort, we were able to bring it to you today, so at least have that opportunity, so we can try to get that done before the time frame for them to go to the market. With that, I'll take any questions that you may have.
Yeah, Assistant Director Olson, just a question or correction, I guess. You mentioned Pleasant Valley, it's actually Pleasant Hill. I mean,
I'm sorry. I
Same,
said-
same, but different.
That's true. I said, I normally would say north of Harrisonville, but that's,
That would be another way to put it.
I said it. 'cause
You're
you-
right.
You go east through Freeman, go to Harrisonville and turn left and go north,
You're
and
right.
you'll either see it or you'll hear it, depending on how close you are. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's up in that direction.
I have driven by that.
There are opportunities in the future that they do on a regular basis, opportunity to go tour the plant. And so that right there, if we come across that again, we'll open that up for
Do that.
those who might attend.
I'm just curious, I don't know how, do we have a direct line on our budget to pay the portion of the debt, or is it?
That right there is wrapped up in our bill from KMEA. KMEA is technically the owner
Okay,
of that agreement. We are an agreement with them for our share of the cost. So any costs that go forward, operation, maintenance, repairs, those type of things, we get our share of that. And so
Okay.
it's just a pass-through from KMEA to us.
so this is obvious expense on their line items, so I guess it'd be a savings in the sense of the whole
Yes.
overall, okay, good. And you know what, I guess we don't know what the rate will be on the new bonds until they,
At this point, we do not. They look like that we could at least save 5, maybe upwards of 8 to 10%. So, but every day you wait is another opportunity for the market to change. And
wait,
so,
say it again, you think bond was gonna be what rate?
well, it's a savings. The
savings,
committee voted to at least a minimum of 5% savings before we would go ahead and do that. And then they're looking at somewhere between 8 and 10%.
'Cause the
That
mar-
is a variable amount because the market is a variable process, and so we would take a look at that, but we gave them a limit, a minimum limit of savings we want to see, but we want to get more.
That's true.
So-
It says here the actual cost, or I guess the original cost is 4.04 on the bond, but obviously we're gonna be down lower, somewhere below that, otherwise it wouldn't be worth.
Like I said, and
refinancing.
that's what the bond council looked at the market and said, we could improve that.
Get that, good,
And so,
thanks.
and as for the vote, you were involved in that, so you got selected being the KBA.
Yes, I
the
saw that.
Director number 1, so you were involved in that process from pretty soon after taking that position.
Successful vote, we'll see, yeah. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Director Olson, for that. Just to clarify again, the $32 million bond is not the city's bond. This is something that.
It is a KMEA bond, but because of our agreement, it is our debt.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, it's-
Well, and don't minimize the savings either,
No.
because you said just 19,000. It's 19,000 per year,
Yeah,
times
that's-
12 years. So, I
that's
mean, it's a
true.
$230,000 savings
Like I
for the
said,
city of
and
Ottawa, possibly.
We can get better than 19, maybe 20, 23.
True.
That's savings carried
minimum.
forward for
Yeah.
the, and then once that bond is done, that plant will continue to operate.
Yeah.
And that bond will be going away. So everything, the market conditions and the ability to maintain that plant will provide improved savings going forward. So it's an investment, similar to what commissions in the past did with power plant generation units. They put them in, it was a long-term investment into our community. And if you remember, for those who are, the Winter Storm Uri, running our units during Winter Storm Uri saved us over $2 million of additional cost. And then even during Winter Storm Aaron here recently, Aaron, yeah, more recent winter storm, there was some savings in there because we ran our units during that time. Not as much as we did during Uri, but we ran our units and helped to control those costs.
It really makes me wonder that I've sat on this commission for 7 years, and I've listened to Commissioner Skidmore talk about our savings, that we can get in interest rates and things like that. Did you have anything to do with this with KMEA already?
I'd like to claim so, but being on there for 1 week, I haven't, no.
You're on for a couple months, and all of a sudden, they're reissuing bonds and
Yeah.
saving interest.
We're just beginning.
I believe that would be just timing, because he came on in January, was originally put in that position. This was something that they have already been probably looking at, and because the date is April 1st, it's just the opportunity that it came up at that time for us to get through that vote, to get that authorization to go out and do that. So it was already in the works. KMEA looks at those just like everyone here, and finance looks at all our bonds and looks at how can we do it better? How can we save money? How can we manage that cost? So it was more timing, but yeah, we can give them some credit.
Well, we'll take credit and make the motion.
That's what I'm gonna say. If I'll take whatever credit I can get, let's make the motion. We approve item 11D on our agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? May I have roll call, please?
How do you vote, Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you. That'll take us to item 12, comments by city manager. Should say final comments by city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Blaine Finch, interim city manager, appearing for you for my last city manager comment. So, next week, the commission will be in the National League of Cities Conference in Washington, D.C. Again, you pointed out earlier the value that comes from those relationships with our representatives and senators in Washington, $2.6 million for our airport expansion. We're able to get a meeting with Senator Moran's office to personally thank him for that member-directed spending. Also want to thank former city manager Brian Silcott for the work that he put in on making that application. We have other applications that are ongoing and that will be submitted, and those are items that you'll be able to talk about in D.C. with our elected officials there about the possibility of additional financial assistance to help Ottawa so that we do not have to ask our citizens to pay the load with property taxes and sales taxes. We try to find some other ways to help continue growth and improvement in our city without relying on those two methods. So Thatcher Motti is here again today, your next city manager. He will be taking over the reins on March 23rd. So no meeting next week. Thatcher will start the Monday after, and then your next meeting on March 25th. And you're free to say thanks for this, Thatcher. You're going to cover dogs and fireworks and flood insurance at your first meeting on the 25th. We saved all the.
No chicken issues? We're
All
good
the,
with chickens? Okay.
we've taken care of those, but
Chickens and bees are all covered.
yeah, that's what you think. No, it will. We're looking forward to having Thatcher on board. I do want to say a particular thank you to Paul Summers for getting us back in this room, working with Brandon Livingston and BCI Mechanical to make sure that we could move back here. You'll notice, I notice anyway, it's a little close in here today. The air handlers and the HVAC system is not fully activated yet. They're still working and have some time to go, but thanks to Paul for making sure that that was a possibility for us to be in here today. Really appreciate that. Also want to thank Paul for coming down when the alarm was tripped last night on the Halon system in the server room during the storms. Turns out it was a false alarm, but thanks to our fire department and to Paul for being here in case there had been a problem. If you're going to have to get up in the night and come down here, at least it's good to come down here and find there was no damage to public property. So we appreciate all those efforts. I also want to lift up some members of our utilities department who are down in Garnett, assisting them with storm damage. They lost several poles. And so we sent some of our linemen down to help our neighbor so they could get back up and running. And we know that they'll do the same for us when the day comes that we have those challenges. So it's great to live in a state like Kansas where we help each other out. And we can rely on our neighbors and friends to get us through. It has been my pleasure to serve as interim city manager, and we've got about 10 days to go. We'll stay at it until Thatcher assumes his new role, but wish you all the best at the National League of Cities Conference. And thank you very much for the opportunity. If you have any questions, I'm here to take them.
Well, I'll just lead and say, thank you for your swan song and for the work that you've put in these past few months. It's been great, working hand in hand with you, getting information, and so thank you for all of that. And you've set us up, for a great handoff, for our next city manager. I did want to see if I could snag you for a second. A question on the stoplight at First and Main. Yep. Could we get a quick update on that?
You bet. The pole is here.
Yeah.
It's going to get installed.
Yes, great question, Mr. Mayor. The pole arrived Friday. The contractor had been notified, and they plan to start installation, depending on weather, next Wednesday. So with that being said, that entire intersection's signaling will be down for some time. They are predicting a day, but things do happen with running new wires and cables and such like that. So look for it a day and a half at most. that intersection will be down. There will be the four-way stop that is currently there now, and I am told that our officers will be on site at the beginning of that process to make sure that traffic is doing what they are supposed to do. They will also be putting their message board out, letting folks know that, that this will be taking place next Wednesday, and we'll get that thing back up and running and going well.
Awesome. Do we expect lane closures or just working on?
No, I don't, I think it's still going to be the four-way stop. I think that area, that northwest corner is going to be the primary focus. Everything else should be open as normal.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, one additional thing, I neglected to mention our public works staff who worked during a storm as well. One of the projects that we're talking about in DC are tow drains along the levee system, and trying to make sure that we don't have a repeat of that incident that we saw several years ago on the north side where water was trapped on the other side of the levee and we couldn't pump it through fast enough. But our public works crews, we have had flood warnings now for a couple of weeks, and they were putting out barricades in the night in the rain and making sure that we kept folks dry. So want to call them out as well and just say thank you to all of your department heads. You have an amazing staff here at the city that comes to work every day with the mission to deliver excellent service to the people of this community. And we do our best to succeed, and when we can do better, we try harder, and proud to work with all of these folks on behalf of the citizens of the city of Ottawa.
Thank you. That'll take us to item 13, comments by governing body. We'll start with Commissioner Van Leeden.
I really don't have a lot. Just thanks to Blaine for doing such a great job as the interim city manager, as well as continuing as the city attorney. So great job, Blaine, and I'm sure we'll be in good hands on the 23rd.
Thank you. Commissioner Allen.
Ditto to that, nothing else.
Commissioner Skidmore.
Yeah, you may be up for City Manager of the Year. I don't know, just for the 3 months you were there, you did a great job. You really did. DJ, just a real quick question. I guess we're watching the river. I saw some lights on down there. No log jams this year? That's good to hear.
Yes, it was good. It's always unfortunate to have ask staff to come out and work those long shifts. That's what they're here for, and they understand the job and they do it well.
That's
So,
good. Well,
it's
thank you.
Fortunate, no bad log jams. It looks as if the water has crested at this point, so the staffing is down to it's minimal at this point. So really, they're just checking pumps, making sure that
Good.
everything's functioning good.
Some good work. All right, great, thanks. And again, thank you all the birthday wishes. 70 isn't so bad, I guess, after all. I did learn one great thing you can do, drive around town all day with one turn signal on and just drive people nuts. But anyway, I'll enjoy doing that tomorrow, so watch out for me. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Crowley.
I too want to say thank you to Mr. Finch. I don't know how you do it. You've got a lot of irons in the fire. I can certainly tell you, hands down, you're the best interim city manager I've ever worked with.
I will ditto what everyone said here. It's been a pleasure working with you. I appreciate your responsiveness when I have questions, when I need anything like that. So that's been great. And you have been the best interim city manager I've ever worked with to this point.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, no, she did not.
You'll notice.
And I want to give a shout out to Paul as well. Having worked in IT, I know how getting alarms for server rooms goes in the middle of the night, and how many services in the city we really take for granted. We don't. We mentioned underground utilities; those things are kind of unsexy. Server rooms are kind of that a lot of times too. There's a lot of stuff happening, and if that stuff goes down, it's a bad day for everyone. And so, glad that nothing actually did happen from the storm. Thank you to our crews for their help in Garnett, and even just the preparedness here in town. We were very fortunate that we're not all getting new roofs and windshields like some of the places in Kansas City. So I don't think anyone's sad about that. But thank you for our crews for being ready for those storms and stuff rolling through. And then, thank you I want to give a shout out to the Aviation Explorers. We are going this next week, and we're going to meet with Senator Moran and thank him for that $2.6 million that's coming to the airport. And a lot of those kids in that group are the future of the people who will be using the airport, interacting with the airport, running the airport, and doing all those things. So they've had some really nice things to send up, to him to kind of say thank you for his work, and again, previous city manager Silcott and city attorney Finch's work on getting that as well. That will take us to announcements. The March 18th, 2026 commission meeting has been canceled, as we will all be in Washington, D.C. for the National League of Cities. March 25th, 2026 study session is in City Hall at 4 p.m. On April 1st, we have a commission meeting at 7 p.m. here in City Hall. And hearing nothing else come before us, we will adjourn.